Time now for one of our very special awards. The Alan Wheeler Medal is awarded to a person who has made a significant contribution to our greyhound racing industry, and it rewards them for their services as well. To make the announcement of our first Alan Wheeler Medal, would you please welcome the State Member for Mile Lakes, Mr. Stephen Bromhead.
Yes, it's my privilege to announce the winner of the Alan Wheeler Medal, and it's Paul Ambrosoli.
Thank you very much, Stephen. PA.
This is the second time. This is the second time you've got me. The first time was the induction awards, and this is the second time. I haven't been informed of this at all. So I'm very much appreciative of it, and particularly because it carries Alan Wheeler's name, and particularly because we lost Paul recently, and that's the worst loss we've ever suffered in greyhound racing, because he was just magic.
As a doyen. PA, it's now 7 years since you retired.
It doesn't seem like that.
I know it doesn't. It seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
Do you know the only reason I really know?
Why?
Is because the daughter gave me a pen with my last race call date on it.
2014,
Yeah, that's
June.
the only reason I know it.
I'm fairly certain, I may be wrong, but I'm fairly certain there will never ever be another broadcaster in greyhound racing, I don't want to embarrass you, but of the ilk of Paul Ambrosoli. They say, ladies and gentlemen, you shouldn't meet your heroes and legends that you look up to, and that. The very first time I ever had the privilege of meeting Paul Ambrosoli, it was one of the great highlights of my life. He has been an idol and of mine. He's someone I've looked up to, and PA, this is due recognition for your services, mate.
Thank you very much indeed. It really is a surprise. I have no idea of this, and as I said, knowing the credentials that the winners have carried in the past, I find this to be most appealing. That's very good indeed. Thank you. And I do remember the first night that we met at Wentworth Park. I do remember that. He strolled up to my broadcasting box and he tells the story. He said, I had the camera and everything else to do an interview with you. He said, I asked a question. One question. 20 minutes later, you finished the story.
34 minutes later, actually. Yeah. Cameraman taps me on the shoulder. He goes, mate, we're out of tape. PA, earlier this year, unfortunately, your beautiful wife, Patty, passed away.
Yes, she did.
She was a lady who not only loved the greyhound racing industry, but she provided an enormous amount of support to you in the job you had to do.
Tremendous. You know, when I became a race broadcaster, the job with 2KY, when I first had the job, I think it was about 71, I think every race broadcaster throughout Australia had been divorced. And I knew none that still had their first wife. All had been divorced. And that might tell you that it's not an easy caper being the wife of a race broadcaster. And it's not. But of course, Pat and I were married for over 50 years, and I would suggest that, you know, it was her that made the 50. You know, she did all the work, and of course, as some of you may not know, I always called her the First Lady of Greyhound Racing because she was the First Lady to be officially handled a greyhound when the rules were changed. In past, you could own a greyhound if you were female, but you couldn't handle the dog and take it to the boxes. And at Temora one night, because of my forgetfulness as I was working, and she had to go to Temora because we had two dogs in, she handled the greyhounds on that occasion and did a superb job. And of course, she was also the First Lady to be a clerk of the course at Greyhound Racing when Norm Smith asked her to do the task at Harold Park. And she had a rather unique outfit that she wore, and all the boys loved it. And she was also expert at the job also because she knew how to handle greyhounds. And she was my introduction to greyhounds, full stop, period. I mean, that's it, I was a punter. And suddenly, and I haven't changed there either.
Still backing losers, mate, yeah.
Never stopped.
No, it's last
But it's
night.
good fun, it's greyhound racing, that's the main thing.
APA, you had an illustrious career. I know it's probably an impossible question to answer, although you may have the answer for it. Is there one moment throughout your career, is there one race, is there one greyhound that was a significant moment throughout the career of Paul Ambrosoli?
Well, there are a lot of them. And I really and truly, this is not a fun thing. I have two bad things. I can't remember people's names. I'm absolutely hopeless with it. I mean, people think it's a joke, but it's not a joke. It's a terrible affliction. I mean, I walked into there and said to Kathy, I said, "Hello, Francis, how are you?" I mean, that might give you an idea to Kathy Collison. I mean, I've just got that terrible memory. I also have a terrible memory for the races that have come and gone, because there have been so many of them, and so many times you see things in races and you say, "Well, I'll never forget that," but you do. And every one of them is individual and have a special meaning. Peter Pearson, writing for the Melbourne paper, once wrote the nicest article ever about me. It was really lovely, because there was a dog called the Big Black Dog at Bull. I had box one. I can't think. It's just one.
I can't think of its name either, mate.
Whiskey. It had whiskey.
Whiskey Riot.
No, whiskey. It had whiskey in its stomach, I'm sure. Who? No, it had box one. Assassin. Whiskey Assassin, I think it was.
How many dogs have been at Bulli with box one?
Yeah. So it had box one, and it was a case for the 8. And so as they'd gone into the boxes, I made the obvious statement, well, here's Whiskey Assassin, you know. This is a greyhound that punters have got to back and bookies have got to lay. And it was a 2s-on favourite. And Peter said, what a way to embellish the start of the race by saying that. And of course, they got to the first turn, and Whiskey Assassin was underneath a lot of them. And instead of sort of cowering out, Jussi just went bash and pushed them all out of the way and ran away one by 5 or 6 lengths. And Peter wrote a lovely article about that, which was terrific. And I always remember the article and remember the race because of it. But if you said to me, was there one race that always sort of sticks in your mind, there's most probably half a dozen. Travel Rev winning the big cup race, coming from 11 lengths off the speed at Harold Park and beating the top grade is unbelievable. But nobody will ever take away the night that Kenny Wright's Big White and Black Dog and Power to Burn came around the turn. Which one? I-Fella and Power to... That shows about my names. I-Fella and Power to Burn came around the turn together. Now, Power to Burn is a little black bitch, and I-Fella is a big white and black dog. And you would swear when they came around the corner that I-Fella was looking at Power to Burn and saying, "Hey, stand there, I'm going to the lead." And I-Fella raced past Power to Burn and had the race. Now, I sit down to call greyhound races. I stand up to call horses, sit down to call greyhounds. And I was sitting, and Power to Burn suddenly reached into its bag of tricks and pulled out that magic that good greyhounds always have at the finish. Any good racing animal has something at the finish. And it was one of the first times that I actually ever got off my seat to say Power to Burn's coming again. And that was just a thrilling finish of all of them. And I think if you ask me for one, that one always stamps itself. It comes back above the others always.
Paul Ambrosoli, I think I speak on behalf of everyone here today. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your services, mate.
Hey.
You are an absolute legend.
Thank you very much indeed. And thank you. More importantly, thank all of you, because you are the people that make the job so good. Because people say to you, "Miss race calling?" Yeah, you do to a certain degree, but I always miss the people because you're part of my family. Thank you very much indeed.